One of the most challenging things that I see men face as they age, and one of the most overlooked, is a condition called venous insufficiency. Now, venous insufficiency may not be a term you've heard before, but you've probably experienced it or noticed it at some point in your life. Let's say you're with your partner, everything is going great, you're in one of your favorite positions, maybe you're lying back while she's on top, and for a moment it feels like you're on top of the world. But then, almost without warning, the erection starts to fade, the performance isn't quite there, and you're left wondering what just happened. That is the essence of venous insufficiency, a situation where the veins are no longer doing their job of keeping blood where it needs to be. You see, erections depend on a delicate balance between blood flowing into the penis through the arteries and staying there because the veins close tightly enough to trap that blood. Arteries are the high-pressure pipelines bringing blood in with force and volume. Veins, on the other hand, are more like the drainage system. They're supposed to let blood out when it's time, but during an erection, their little valves need to close firmly so that the blood doesn't escape too early. The problem comes when those valves weaken over time. Instead of snapping shut, they get leaky. So even though the blood is flowing in, it's leaking right back out. This is why venous insufficiency is often called leaky vein. It's the same reason some men notice varicose veins in their legs after standing for long periods, or why swelling develops in the ankles after a long day on your feet. The valves are weak, the pressure builds up, and things don't work the way they should. And when it comes to sexual performance, this becomes one of the hardest problems to treat. Arteries can often be strengthened with lifestyle changes, medication, or shockwave therapy, but leaky veins, that's much tougher, especially when you're in a position where gravity is not on your side, like lying on your back. Gravity is helping the blood escape instead of keeping it in place. That's why so many men find that certain positions are suddenly unreliable as they age, and that's why venous insufficiency becomes such an important conversation when we talk about keeping erections strong and intimacy alive. As a physician who works with men on these issues, I can tell you that venous insufficiency is one of the toughest challenges. We use all kinds of approaches: shockwave therapy directed at the base of the penis where the erectile bodies connect, strengthening the arterial system, encouraging better overall circulation, but even then progress can be slow. Early in my career, I stumbled on something interesting, and it came not from the world of erectile dysfunction, but from the world of circulation and varicose veins. It was an extract called horse chestnut extract. This plant compound has been used for centuries to treat poor circulation, leg swelling, varicose veins, and that heavy, achy feeling people get in their legs after standing for too long. The mechanism made sense. Horse chestnut strengthens vein walls, supports the valves, and reduces leakage. So one day I asked myself, if it can help the veins in the legs, what about the veins in the penis? I began looking into the studies, and although they weren't massive pharmaceutical-funded trials, the evidence was promising. Smaller clinical studies and traditional use suggested that horse chestnut could make veins less leaky and improve venous return. That got me excited, and then the feedback from patients started to roll in. One of the most memorable was from Ron, who began taking 200 milligrams of horse chestnut extract daily. After about 6 weeks, he came back to tell me that for the first time in a long time, he was able to stay fully erect while lying on his back with his wife on top, her favorite position. For him, that was a breakthrough, because that position had always been the most challenging. He said, "Doc, I can finally stay in the game without fading, and it feels amazing for both of us." That's huge, not just because of the sexual performance, but because of what it means for relationships. When a man feels confident, when his partner feels satisfied, the chemistry improves, the irritability goes down, and the bond between them grows strong. That's why I get so passionate about these kinds of discoveries. It's not just about blood flow, it's about keeping families together, keeping intimacy alive, and giving people back a piece of their confidence. And the best part is, Ron's story wasn't unique. I began to hear similar experiences from other men who gave horse chestnut extract a real try. The key word here is real try. Supplements are not quick fixes. They take consistency, patience, and time. Ron didn't feel the difference after 2 days, but after 6 weeks, he saw a noticeable change. That's what you can expect with natural compounds. They work gradually, rebuilding and strengthening from the inside out. So let's talk about practical application. If you're considering horse chestnut extract, the typical dosage used for circulation and venous health is between 100 and 200 milligrams daily, often taken once per day. You want to make sure you're choosing a reputable brand, preferably one that uses an alcohol-free extract and clily labels the active compound, SN, which is responsible for much of the effect. I don't endorse specific brands, but I always tell people to look for companies with solid reputations, read the reviews, and make sure the formulation is clean. While you're working with supplements like horse chestnut, remember that tools like constriction rings, also called cock rings, can provide immediate support. These rings trap blood inside the penis, compensating for leaky veins in the short term. Some men feel embarrassed about them, but honestly they can be thought of as functional jewelry, just like a bracelet or a watch, except this one serves an anatomical purpose. It keeps the blood where you want it. They don't have to be flashy or colorful. There are discreet flesh-toned versions if you prefer. Combined with the long-term support of horse chestnut extract, they give you both immediate and ongoing results. And remember, gravity plays a big role in venous insufficiency. When you're on your back, gravity is pulling the blood away and those leaky valves struggle even more. That's why positions like lying down can be harder to maintain, while prone positions, where gravity helps keep blood in, are often easier. Understanding this gives you more control, because now you can pair the right tools with the right expectations. Over time, as the horse chestnut strengthens those veins, you may find that you can last longer in those once difficult positions without relying as heavily on external aids. That's the kind of progress that changes not just sex but self-esteem. So the takeaway is this: venous insufficiency is real, it's common, and it's one of the most difficult erectile challenges to address. But it's not hopeless. With strategies like shockwave therapy, lifestyle changes, supportive tools like constriction rings, and natural options like horse chestnut extract, men are seeing meaningful improvement. And those improvements matter because when you feel confident in the bedroom, when your partner feels satisfied, everything in the relationship gets better. I always say intimacy is glue for relationships. If we can keep that glue strong, we give couples more reasons to smile, to connect, and to stay close. Horse chestnut extract may not be a miracle cure, but for many men, it's proving to be a quiet, steady game changer.